have a dog behind me today. Oh shit. What's up, my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh players? So today's video is going to be on the topic of casuals versus competitive. I never thought I would say this, but I'm gonna have to agree a little bit with Farfa. Hold on, mental life crisis happening. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't have beef with Farfa. I just don't often like most of his things he says. Like, I watched a video from him a long time ago where he was kind of being a little bit snobby towards some of the other players at his locals. So I have a little bit of a dislike of him for that. But in this particular instance, when he's talking about casuals versus competitive, in his video he made a very valid point, and I have to give him credit for that. And Yugi Nono also made a very interesting, I want to say, analogy. So I wanted to kind of give you guys my own take on it. The idea here, the basis of the argument, in case you guys don't know, is that what they're saying is the term casual is often used as a derogatory term for players who play bad or don't play meta decks. And then Farfa kind of goes, he gets a little bit, how do I say this? He gets angry, needless to say. And in his video, he points out that no, a casual player is talking more about how much time is spent learning and playing the game versus a competitive player. So Farfa's argument is that the casual player spends maybe an hour a week, and just as an example, and the competitive player spends, you know, anywhere from 24 hours to, you know, I mean, a full-time job's worth of time to the game. So he's got some valid points there. And then he also makes the point about people using the other side of the argument, like competitive players or players who are given the title of being competitive, using the term to be derogatory towards the players who don't spend that kind of time or play bad. You know, they use it for everyone who's not spending that kind of time, basically. And then the casual players doing the same thing as an excuse for when they lose. I've been guilty of that once or twice. But then again, Farfa made a valid point that even made me go, oh, well, and Yugi Nono also, I was like, okay, well, that, you know, I didn't know, but I, you know, subconsciously knew. It's kind of one of those things. Basically, the point is, what they're saying is that when it comes to this game, you don't necessarily, just because you don't want to play whatever the meta deck is, like in Yugi Nono's skate, he talks about Pendulum Magicians. Just because you don't want to play that, you want to play Metaphos, we're going to use the same example there, you know, it doesn't give you an excuse to play the deck badly and making poor card choices. And had to bug my dog. So for example, in Yugi Nono's case, he used like the Mirror Force versus Sakuratsu Armor. I'm going to go a little bit different with my example, and we're going to use the hand traps. So basically the idea here is, if you were playing a competitive, if you have a deck, and there are varying factors that go into building a deck. Time you have to give to the deck to practice to build the best possible deck. Funds, that's a big issue there, and availability. So, for example, a lot of players like myself have been playing since the dawn of time of Yu-Gi-Oh, who will, you know, have a plethora of old cards. I mean, Yugi Nono is, for example, is very famous for building these crazy, wacky, fun decks out of cards he already has. I do the same thing. If you guys are new here, go look at the backlog of videos I got. You will see some just wacky stuff. I mean, I've done some decks where I'm like, I played that? Ooh. But that's just how it is. So, in the example that I'm going to give you guys is with hand traps. We're going back to that. Mostly competitive players are going to go with Ash Blossom, right? Ash Blossom is this very powerful hand trap. It definitely is a good out to like a buck ton of cards. And then there's Effect Veiler. Alright? clearly Ash Blossom is better than Effect Veiler. But Effect Veiler is still a decent card. Like, for example, let's just say you can't afford the Ash Blossom. Okay? Or the Ash Blossom. Get that out of here. And then, so now, you no longer have the access to the Ash Blossom. Alright, so, but you're still a competitive player, right? So what do you play in place of Ash Blossom? You probably play Effect Veiler, because Effect Veiler stops about a lot of the cards that you would use Ash Blossom to stop. So, boom. Now you have Effect Veiler, but you still, and then you have the card, let's say an older hand trap, Kuriboh. And yes, Kuriboh is a hand trap. If you read it, it says discard this card to negate any kind of battle damage you would take. So, ultimately, it is a hand trap. Not a very good one, but it's a hand trap. So, the argument is, like, based on the kind of what you have available to you and what you can afford, determines on what level of player you are, and that's just frankly not the case. In short, just because you have to play Effect Veiler instead of Ash Blossom, they're saying that the derogatory competitive player will say you're bad. No, the answer is you're not bad, you're just broke. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not willing to spend $60 to $70 for one card. I won't do it. When I could take that same money and build a cheaper deck that probably puts up at least half as good a fight. Now, that's unfortunately the way the game is. You pay to play. You pay to win a little bit. And it is only a little bit, guys. I just want you guys to understand that. Just because you bought your playset of Ash Blossoms doesn't make you the best player in the world. You're not going to win every game. But there are multiple factors that go into this, and the truth is, you know, I think Yuki Nono has a point. I also think Farfa has a point. You wouldn't play Kuriboh and call yourself the best. You just wouldn't. And, you know, and you can't say, well, I'm a casual, as an excuse to say why you're playing Kuriboh. Now, I think Farfa made an even better point when he was talking about if you want to play a deck like Yosenju, then play Yosenju, but build it to the best that it can be. And I think that's a very valid point. I don't even care what deck it is you want to play. You got to build it the best you can. Like, that's why you see the Fire King Dinosaur deck on this channel. That's a very good example. Wasn't willing to spend money to get the True King variant back when it was out because Diagram was ridiculously priced, in my opinion. So I went with the next best thing and I built a Fire King variant because the Fire King field spell does almost the exact same thing the Diagram field spell does. It's just I'm adding a Fire King instead of a True Draco or a True King. There's still synergy there. It's just my card choice was cheaper. And I wouldn't call it original. I stole that from the Cosmo deck from back in the day. But it worked. My point is to say is ultimately, guys, there are multiple factors that come into building a deck. So whether you're building the best deck or the worst deck, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you a bad player if you can't, you know, if you can only afford a Kuriboh. It only makes you a bad player if you choose the Kuriboh over, say, the Effect Veiler and the Ash Blossom. That's the difference. I mean, unless you just really like Kuriboh and you want to build a Kuriboh deck, in that case, then put those Effect Veilers in your Kuriboh deck. Or Ash Blossom. I mean, I'm not going to judge you. I've done some wacky shit on this channel. I ain't got any room to talk. So that's our hopefully uplifting discussion video. I hope you guys, my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh players, will watch this video and it will encourage you guys to maybe hopefully think outside the box and realize that, you know, being an elitist in any form or fashion, whether that's casual or competitive, is not good. Just play what you want to play and have fun. The game was meant for fun. Yugi Nono's right about that, and I have to agree. So, that being said, I'm Bet2000 Wajo, your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, maybe hit that bell button if you really like what I'm doing, and I'll see you guys Sunday. I'm out, guys. Peace.